What is up, guys? TSL here, back with a brand new video. In today's video I will be showing you guys how you can make your very own global leaderboard for your Roblox game. Now in today's video, as you see, I already have like a leaderboard set up. There are no scripts in this right now, so nothing is working. This is just the UI and I will leave a link to it in the description. You can change some stuff, but note that the naming is very important. So if you open this up, you'll see we have two parts, and this is I don't know, I just built this like this for some reason. Yeah, anyways, you'll see we have a surface GUI. This is the important thing. So we have this base player frame, right? And this is just going to be like, we will duplicate this and make this visible and invisible, and we will also place it in the scrolling frame when we do it. But if I make this visible, you see all it has is a text with player, coins, and the number. Inside of it, you see we have it called amount for the amount of coins that they'll have, the player, PLR for player name, and the rank for what rank they are on the leaderboard. Now, this will get cloned and the text will change for every person on the leaderboard, but that is how that works. Now, in the scrolling frame, all we have is a UI list layout, and this will place everything in order from top to bottom. And also, I made the canvas size 0, 0, 5, 0. And in the UI list layout, I have a padding of 0, 2. And then finally, we just have this title, which is not important, and that's the only thing that's not important. Anyways, let's get started with the scripting. Now, one thing I wanted to mention before we get started is there's actually a written tutorial I made on the DevForum for this exact thing. So if you rather have a written tutorial, or you want to take some stuff from there, it has all the scripts there as well. But anyways, let's get started. It has all the scripts and it's explained. So first thing we want to do is actually make a currency. So this is pretty simple. We'll just make a simple leader stat script. So we'll start off with some service variables. Always good to add comments and organize your code. So local players is equal to game colon get service players. Next, we want some functions, and the first function we'll have is a local function on player added, and this takes in the player because it gets passed automatically. So now what we want to do is, we want to make a folder called leader stats in the player. Instance.new folder, the stats name is equal to leader stats. Make sure you spell this exactly the same or it won't work, as Roblox is very picky when it comes to that. The parent of this should be the player, because if it's not the player, it also won't work. Player, like that. And then we want our coins, because that's the currency we'll be using, and this is just going to be a int value inside of our leader stats. So the coins.name is going to be equal to coins, and then the coins.parent is equal to, how about the stats, and then the coins.value, this is just starting value, and that's going to be 0, because we don't want them to start with like 10 million coins. Now also at the end of here, we'll just spawn a new thread so that this while wait loop that we're gonna create down here won't actually affect anything else in the script and like not make anything else run. So this spawns a new thread, and we just want to do while task.wait of 60 seconds, so every minute, or actually let's just do 5 seconds because it'll be better. We'll just add to our coins value, how about 100. Alright, so now what we want to do is just add our connection, and this is just going to be game, or not game, just players.player added connect, and then on player added. Now this is all structured and commented like this, even though we don't need it, but it makes it a lot cleaner, and we'll be adding more stuff later in the script because it will be saved as well. So let's call this script leader stats, and let's move on. So now we want to actually move on to saving the data so that it will like actually load and save, and that people can actually like get on the leaderboard without having to be in the server. Now first of all, I just want to mention that we will be using Order Data Store for this tutorial. Order Data Store is a great tool that Roblox offers, and it's a really easy way that we can order, like get the top, let's say 50, because we'll be making a top 50 leaderboard. So it's a really easy way to make a top 50 or to get a top whatever players. So first let's make a variable for our data store service. So we'll say DSS is equal to game::get service, a data store service. Next we want to make a comment for our variables, and then we want to add one, and this will be our DS, which is our data store, and this will be DSS::get ordered data store, and then you just want to get the data store name. Now I'll just call it like coins board. And then what we want to do is inside of our player added function, on the top what we're going to do is make a variable for our player key, and this will be equal to the player's ID underscore concatenate with the player's user ID. So this, always use user ID instead of their name, because if you use their name and they spend 1,000 Robux to change their name, not only did they use 1,000 Robux, now their data is lost. So make sure you use their user ID, as that can never change. Now the next thing we want to do is get our local success and our data, and this is going to be equal to a pcall function, and we want to return our DS::get async with our player key. Now this should return our player's data, and if it doesn't, then it will, instead of erroring and stopping our script, it will just set the success variable to false. So then down here, what we're going to actually do is if success, then, and then we just want to set our coins value equal to data, which will be our coins, or 0 if there is no data, or data will be this. So data will either be the coins or this if there's nothing there. Alright, so now that we have successfully loaded our player data, we actually have to save it. So you can't load data if there's none to be loaded. So now we need a local function save data. Or actually just do on player removing. And this will also take in the player, and let's continue. And we also want a function on server shut down. This is if the server gets shut down, or it's good for testing in studios, as this will guarantee it always saves. Now you might get like a data store's request was added to queue when you use this, but in a normal game you won't get that because there would be more than one person most of the time. If not, then on player removing should work, just it doesn't work in studios most of the time. So anyways, before we forget, let's add our connections down here. So we'll do players.player removing, and then we'll :connect on player removing, remove the parentheses, and then we'll do game : bind to close, and we want to connect that to our on server shutdown. Alright, so now what we're gonna do is inside of our player removing, we want to add that same player key variable that we have up here, and let's copy that and paste it right here, and we can also paste it, actually no. So now that we have our player key, what we want to do is our, once again, local success, and our result is equal to a pcall function, and this function will return our data store : set async this time, because we want to set the data this time, and we want to set the player key, aka our player's data, equal to the player's current coins. So player.coins.value, or player.leaderstats.coins.value. And if we, let's just say if not success, then we want to warn our result, but we don't want to error it because we don't want to just stop the script completely. So that should actually be the whole, the entirety of the player removing script, except I want to just make this a variable, and then we can just do coins.value. So say local coins is equal to player.leaderstats.coins. Alright, so we can pretty much copy this whole thing and move this into our server shutdown. But before you paste that, what we want to do is a for loop. For underscore comma player in pairs, players colon get players do, and then we can paste this in here, and that should actually be it. Alright, so now if we go ahead and we save this to Roblox first of all, and we do leaderboards YT tutorial, and we save it. Alright, that took a second to load. Alright, so anyways, we're back here. So if we now go ahead to game settings and our security, we have to turn on enable studio access to API servers to even be able to use data stores in Studio. So now that we got that, if we go ahead and play the game, you'll see we have our coins leader stats. Every 5 seconds we should be getting 100 coins, and as you see we do. But our leaderboard's actually not doing anything, and that's going to be the next step. So once we load it out, it takes a little because of this, which I was telling you about before. Alright, so anyways, what we want to do now is we could close this script actually, and we want to move on to the actual leaderboard. So now what we want to do is go into the workspace into our part and insert a script. Let's just rename this script to the leaderboard script. Now in the script, we want some general variables. And this will be our DSS is equal to game colon get service data store service, and our DS, which is equal to game colon get service, or not get service, equal to DSS colon get ordered data store, and we called it coins board. Make sure that this is the same name you used in your saving script / leaderstat script. Now we want some UI variables, and let's add the second slash. So what we need here is our UI equal to script.parent.surface GUI. We want our base player frame, let's just uppercase that. Base player frame is equal to UI dot base player frame, and then we'll have a local board frame is equal to UI dot scrolling frame. Next up we have our functions. Now the first function we want is a save data function. So now basically every time or every 60 seconds, you can do 60 seconds without getting that stupid request was added to queue error. And yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. So let's go ahead and into our leaderstat script and copy this code that we had here in our on server shutdown function. If we paste it in here, then we can also add in a local players is equal to game colon get service players. And yeah, so now that should be it for that save data function. So let's move on to our get top 50 players function. Now this function is going to be the biggest function, or the most important. So we'll say get top 50 players, and we'll say local is ascending is equal to false, and our page size is equal to 50 because we only want our top 50 players. And then we get our pages is equal to data store or DS, and so it's equal to our DS, and we call it as a function, and we pass in is ascending and our page size. Next up, we get our local top 50 from our pages, and this is just going to be equal to pages colon get current page, and yeah, we just want to get the current page. Now, next up, we want to make a local top array, and this array is going to this array is going to save us, or it's going to contain all of our top 50 players, but it's going to contain it as some data that we want, which is the name of the player, the coins, and the rank that they're in. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get the rank and the data in pairs from our top 50. And what we're going to do is the data name is equal to data.key in lowercase, and the name of the player is going to be equal to players colon get name from user ID async, and then this is going to be data name colon split, and we want to split this at the underscore and get the second index. Now basically the data name is equal to this. So if we string.split this, or the data name colon split this at the underscore, what we're left with is ID at the first index and the player's user ID at the second. So that's the reason we're doing that. So that gets us the player's name. Next up, we want the local coins, and this is going to be equal to the data.value. Next up, we just want to make a local player, or PLR, is equal to, actually we'll call this current player, is equal to a table, a dictionary actually it's going to be, and with a player equal to the name, a coins equal to the coins, and then our rank equal to our rank, which we got from the loop. Then finally, we want to table.insert, and we want to insert into the top table, which is this. We want to insert it at the ranks index, and we want to insert the current player. So now all we want to do is just return the top table, which is our top 50 players. Alright, so now the next function that we need is a clear list function. Now this function is going to just clear everybody on our leaderboard, and it's because then we'll replace them with all the new updated leaderboard. So we're going to spawn a new thread with test.spawn, and then we want to loop through for underscore comma PLR frame, so every player frame, in pairs of the board frame colon get children. We want to say if not PLR frame colon is a frame, then continue end, because we have one thing in our scrolling frame that is not going to be a player frame, and that is the UI list layout. So anyways, if it is the UI list layout, we just want to continue to the next loop iteration. So if it is, we just want to destroy the player frame. So player frame colon destroy. And then I like to add a task.wait of 0.25 seconds. This is not necessary, but I like it because it gives it the effect that it's deleting one by one and then going to be updating one by one. So if you just remove this, it'll just look like they get removed pretty much all at once. Maybe a slight delay. Now the next thing we want is a local function that is going to be called update list, and this does what it says. It's going to update our list. So first thing we want to do is save our data and clear our list. Then we want to get our top 50 players. So our top 50 is equal to get top 50 players. Now as you remember, this returns the top table. Next, we want to spawn a new thread once again. Text a spawn function, and this is going to loop through all the players in the top 50. So for underscore common player in pairs top 50, do. Now remember, we saved our players, the player as the player's name, the coins as their coins, and the rank as their rank. So what we're gonna do is make a variable for name is equal to plr.player. Our local coins is equal to plr.coins, and our local rank is equal to plr.rank. Now here what we want to do is make a local frame equal to base player frame colon a clone. We want to say frame.parent is equal to the board frame. Next we want to say frame.plr.text is equal to name. Frame.amount.text is equal to coins, and then our frame.rank.text is going to be equal to our rank. Now finally, we want to make the frame visible equal to true so that we can see it, and we want to add that delay to give it that same effect that I was talking about before. So test.wait 0.25. So that's that whole update list function, and now this should actually already be working, except you won't be able to see it because we have to actually update, like make a function to update the list every 60 seconds. Also, now I remember why we had this other part, and this part has a surface GUI with a text label that just goes across it, and that is the count text label. This count text label just gives us a countdown. So basically what we're going to do is spawn yet another thread. So test.spawn function while true do, and then we want to update our list, and then for our count is going to be equal to 60, and we want to go all the way to 0, and we want to go -1 each time. So then we just do script.parent.part or script.parent.part.surface GUI, and then we get the .count.text is equal to leaderboard updating in, and then we'll concatenate our count, and then we'll concatenate seconds. And then what we want to do here is just task.wait of 1 second, so that every second our countdown goes down by 1. Once the countdown finishes, it'll restart this loop, update the list, and do the countdown once again for another 60 seconds. So now let's go ahead and test this. All should be done, all should be working, so let's hope that it's working. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and play this here. And while that tests, I will just start logging into an alt account so that I can show you guys this after. Let's just check that out. Alright, so we have one error here. DS : is ascending. Alright, well, this obviously is going to error. Alright, so we forgot one thing. I don't know why I said to call it as a function. We're supposed to say get sorted async and is ascending in our page size. So now if we go ahead and we test this out, first of all, now we should be getting the countdown, and yeah, see, we have the countdown. So once that hits 0, we should be placed onto the leaderboard. But as you see, we also started with like 600 or 700 coins, which means our saving worked. Alright, we got 15 seconds left, and I won't speed the video up anymore. We'll just wait these last 10 seconds. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Should be updating, and we get one error. Unable to assign property text, string expected got nil. Okay, so we have a few errors. This says spawn instead of wait for some reason. Don't know why that happened. And then this is saying that that's not defined. So if we check, our coins is equal to our coins. If we print out our coins, let's just print out everything. Let's print out name, let's print out coins, and let's print out rank. Now, just for the sake of testing, I'm just going to make this 10. Alright, so now that we have done this, unable to assign property text to nil. Alright, so everything works except for our coins, which is odd. So if we look up at line 39, this is a nil for some reason. Let's output data real quick. Maybe we did something wrong. Okay. Value needs to be lowercase, just like the key. Alright, well, you see, sometimes we all make mistakes. Even if I have a written tutorial, I still did that wrong. Alright, anyways, so let's just do this one more time with only 10 seconds. So if we load in, you see we are on the leaderboard with 2,200 coins. And if we wait the next 2 seconds, it deletes, updates, and we're back on with 2,400. Alright guys, well, I'll leave it at 10 seconds for now, and I will go test this in a regular server with one of my alt accounts. Now real quick, what I want to actually do is let's see, so let's change this to the PLR is equal to players colon, look, I'll show you the method we want to use, players colon get player by user ID. That's what we want to do. So to get player by user ID, and then what I want to do is make our name is equal to the player.display name, or maybe we can even do get display. No, they don't have that. Alright, so get player.user ID, and then we'll just do the name equal to player.display name. Alright, so this should still work, and yeah. So I'll go ahead and save this to ROBLOX and publish it, and I'll be right back when I'm in a regular server. Alright guys, I am in the game, and as you see, he joined after I joined, so he's not on the leaderboard. But as you see now, it's updated, and he's on the leaderboard with 100. I'm up there with 2,600. We got 2 seconds, and you see delete, and then it replaces. Now as you see, it all works because I'm on top and he's in second place. Alright guys, well that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video and this helped you out, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and also turn on post notifications so you never miss out on a brand new video. Other than that, take care, bye.